On our fifth wedding anniversary, my male assistant pastit a to it. In the photo I saw my lost wedding ring on Oje's ring finger. With you for the rest of my life, please take care of me. There wasn't the slightest ripple in my heart. I liked the post and commented, "Wish you happiness, but the ring that doesn't look quite right." Just a few seconds later, my wife called me. "What are you doing, WHY? You are getting with a child." I was just letting him wear your wedding ring for fun. "WHY do you have to be so potty?" On the other end of the phone, the little assistant complained pitifully. My wife comforted him gently. "It's okay," you said, retort me, "don't worry about him." I hung up the phone. 5 years of love had ultimately become a joke. Leaving the divorce papers on the table, I turned around and left. Chapter Adino and John came home. It was already past midnight. As soon as she walked through the door, I could smell the strong alcohol on her. Without even looking up, I quietly cleaned the messes on the table. The steak on the table had been waiting for a full 5 hours and was already cold. The wine that had been uncorked was now more like a get vinegar after such a long wait. After clearing the candles from the table, I sat down and nonchalantly put the cold steak into my mouth. IT was igualito wagyu u beef. Quite expensive. John sneered when she saw it. "If you ask me, you're just so unrefined," she said. "WHY are you holding on to a cold piece of meat just through it, Rui?" Ashes pakeshu with the bag she was holding. "Look, I brought you something to eat. This is from Dom especially for you. Really, you're already the salt and you're still less mature than a guy who's just started working." She was leaning forwards a little unclear ashes paquet. Ever since she reached her current position, she rarely drank to the point of losing control like this. I stayed silent and didn't respond, continuing to the state by myself. She sent a bit unhappy and slapped the plate in front of me, knocking it over. She placed both hands on the table, her blurry a sickness of anger. "It, you still have the nerve to it. Don't you realize that because you've been sarcastic in his comment section, how is he super set to hold his head high in front of his workers is just a guy who needs love. What's wrong with it? I warn you, apologize to him right now." Ashes Pakesha pulled out her phone and dialed the minute number. IT was picked up almost immediately. "At substance, it's been so short since we parted already missing me," which is our dramatic voice made me feel nauseous. I couldn't even swallow the steak in my mouth. Jana's cold expression melted instantly, replaced by a warm smile. "Domi, you're such a good boy. I'm teaching Ramea a lesson for you right now. Be good and make him apologize to you." She shoved the phone in front of me. I kept eating, not even looking up, mechanically chewing. John was now angry, slamming her hand down on the table with a tone full of merriment. "Ramea, didn't you hear me apologize? You're over 10 years older than him and you still don't know basic manners. Don't you feel ashamed that Dom, especially about you soap? Do you even know how to be grateful?" On the other end of the phone, Dominic said something that made Jana's expression soften a hint of bashfulness creeping into her tone. "Didn't I just reward you, you little rascal?" In the past, if I had heard her talking like this with another man, I would probably exploded in anger. But now I just wanted to quietly fiddle with my knife and fork, shoving piece after piece of cold hard steak into my mouth. The two of them chatted for a full 20 minutes before John reluctantly hung up the phone. "All right, baby, you hang up first," she said, baby, with such familiarity. I couldn't help but look up at her. Our eyes met and I saw a flicker of discomfort in her eyes. But soon she became a little angry and said, "What are you looking at? It's just a nickname. That's the big deal." I nodded, speaking calmly. "Indeed, there is no need to care." Joanna stared at me for a moment, perhaps feeling awkward. After clearing her throat a few times, she said, "Ego, heat up the food. Don't eat that cold steak. The food from their place is pretty good." With that, she grabbed the bag and went into the kitchen. IT was just a few minutes to heat up some food, but she ended up spending over 20 minutes in the kitchen. When I had finished the steak and was about to take my plate to the sink, I noticed that John was holding the freshly heated food with one hand while the other was holding her phone, staring at the screen with a glazed look. I walked over to her, glancing at the lit up phone screen. IT was a message from someone named "Baby. You, I miss you so much. Do you know even though I was drunk, I did IT on purpose. I just wanted to collapse into your arms and wake up next to you in bed." Chapter 2. I couldn't help but shiver, a wave of goosebumps covering my skin. I really couldn't understand how John could possibly fall for such a greasy and disgusting man. John was still oblivious to my presence, splashing the food down and quickly typing a reply. "Good boys will find time to be with you." Just as she was about to send IT, she turned around and bumped directly into my chest. "What are you doing? When she realized that he was mit Journal jumped in surprise but quickly hid her phone behind her back, her voice filled with anger. Why are you sneaking up on me? Are you trying to spy on me and snoop through my iPhone? Her voice twisted in a grimace, trying to cover up her nervousness with a first Jimmy aan. I didn't respond, staying silent as she shoved me and wou ze had, foot into my hands. Eat this dummy picked it out specially for you. I'm not hungry. I placed the platter aside and tossed the steak knife and fork into the sink. But as I turned round, a spoonful of food was suddenly pressed against my lips. Is it going to you to just eat one bit? Joanna glared at me angrily. If you don't eat it today, you're not done. Nooit I rabut my favorite. I had planned to just go along with it to get her to stop bothering me. But just as I opened my mouth, I caught a strong smell of peanut butter. Before I could close my mouth, Joanna shoved the spoon forward, almost forcing it down my throat. I didn't even have time to chew or taste the food before it was swallowed. This was bad. I pushed her and rose to the trash can desperately, trying to gag and get the food out of my throat. But Joanna wasn't happy. That's your problem. This is the miskindness and you're treating it like this. She yanked my arm, grumbling angrily. You're in your 30s and still don't know how to appreciate things. I'm telling you, if you don't eat all of it today, you're getting a devours. As I continued to cover, my eyes fell on the food containing her hand. I immediately saw the peanuts scattered on top and the thick layer of peanut butter. Hearing Kiana straight, my heart sank to the depths of despair. After all these years, didn't you know that I was allergic to peanuts? The pain in my stomach was starting to intensify, and I thought to a tiny low anger. I stood up and pushed her rushing out of the kitchen. John was even more furious now. You're pushing me. Do you still have the nerve to be angry? Where are you going to come back and finish the food? I ignored her and started searching through the living room. But the medicine cabinet which I always kept in the drawer of the coffee table was nowhere to be found. What are you doing? John asked, but I didn't answer. I just kept searching frantically for the medicine cabinet. The sharp pain and tightness in my chest were making my head spin, and I could barely stand. John paused for a moment, her brows furrowed deeply. Achichanbi, are you trying to tell me the was paisan just a bad mouth dummy? Remember when did you become this law? I sought therefore to argue with her. The suffocating feeling in my chest made me start coughing uncontrollably, and my skin was beginning to turn red. Seeing this, John panicked. What's wrong with you? Medicine. Give me the medicine. I managed to get the words out after struggling for a while. John seemed to have realized something, and her face turned awkward. Well, Dummy and I just moved to any place, and I was worried he might not have a medicine cabinet, so... You don't really take you to the hospital right now. Chapter 3. The shock of the situation seemed to snap John out of her drunken state. She quickly fumbled to help me up. We stumbled down the stairs, and upon reaching the garage, I opened the back seat of the car. But the moment I looked inside, I froze. The floor in front of the seat was covered in crumpled tissues, and on the backrest of the seat was a man's pair of underwear clearly tossed there in a hurry, standing out like a sorry Tom. Joanna noticed it too, and her face instantly changed there. She stammered as she tried to explain. "'Tis that, a few days ago, Dummy and I went swimming. I guess he must have forgotten it when he changed the clothes there. I looked at the underwear, and the fabric was clearly marked with a stain one that could only have come from Rizantuse. A scene flashed through my mind. Joanna and Dominic together in the back of the car, tangled up with each other. But at that moment, the suffocating feeling in my chest made it impossible for me to care about her excuses. I quickly tossed the underwear and tissues out of the car window, feeling quick as I sat down. "What are you doing?" Joanna was upset, rushing to pick up the underwear and carefully folding it. She then placed it into her bag. "This is a designated brand, it isn't cheap. Dummy just got promoted, so buying this isn't a small expense. You can just Rui. Her carefulness with the underwear was like a step to MY's, but I no longer had the energy to argue with her. After all, at the point in caring about a woman who's already gone, but as we neared the hospital, Anna's phone rang. She glanced at the call, ID slammed on the brakes, and parked the car on the side of the road before answering the call. "Says I'm feeling so sick in my stomach. Can you come be with me? I can't sleep with her. You be by my side." The minute's pitiful voice echoed from the other end of the line, making the cramped space in the car feel even more suffocating. "All right, I'm coming right now." Joanna barely hesitated. She turned the car around, heading in the opposite direction of the hospital. "Shin con Ramea." Domi really needs me, right? Now I have to go. I don't help but let out a self-deprecatingly. So the minutes longing was more urgent than a more near the allergic reaction. Chapter 4 the car came to a stop but John didn't forget 2 hours minute to move round before hurriedly heading upstairs. I was left alone in the car trying to force myself to breathe, trying to calm the suffocating heaviness in my chest. But John perhaps worried I would cause trouble locked the car. Minutes passed and I started sweating coldly, my face pale in the rearview mirror. I realized that I had to get to the hospital quickly. I took out my phone and dialed emergency services. But when the paramedics arrived there, they couldn't reach Jones. Finally, my surgeon decided to break the window. At the hospital after an examination, the distress phase grew serious. Your allergic reaction is severe. If you had waited any longer, it could have been life-threatening. Given how low your oxygen levels, I recommend you stay in the hospital for observation. You should also have someone at home to look after you. I thought for a moment and called my assistant from the company. Throughout the entire ordeal, I received no messages from Jones. I chased until the next morning that she finally called me. I checked the time, it was already 7 a.m. I teased him to only remember me after enjoying the night with Dominic. Ramme, are you crazy? Why did you smash the car? What if it was telling BY bad people? The bitterness in my heart deepened. I thought she might feel guilty, but the first thing she mentioned was the car. She didn't even acknowledge the fact that she had locked me in the car while I was severely allergic. I replied flatly, so you only called because of the car. I bought the car myself. If it's damaged, then so be it. Hearing my tone Jonas obstinate a little. I'm not mad, honey. Besides, it's our giant property. I'm just a little irritated because I soon get to work without the car. Work. I soon help but shake my head and scoff. Since the car is broken, you should just stay at home and rest. The house is too boring. I come to the office to find you and bring you breakfast. Domi said here is a great place for soup dumplings. She spoke with such enthusiasm, and I remained cold as ice. I seemed like she had completely forgotten about the incident with me in the car. No need to bother. Just take care of you, Domi. Promised myself I would cherish your hold her in the palm of my hand and take care of her as much as possible. She was always passionate about starting her own business, so I asked my father to help her join my company. I made sure to clear the path for her career growth, offering her the occasional green light when needed. I didn't need her to know that everything was because of my efforts. I just wanted her to be happy. But as her status grew, so did her arrogance. Now she openly cheated and even tried to manipulate me with PUA tactics. On the video called Joanna was still complaining incessantly. I noticed her lips were swollen and I couldn't help but sneer internally. I teased she unforgotten to get entangled with Dominic before leaving. Anyway, you should try to be more magnanimous. Your current life won't be possible without my efforts. I'm the one supporting you, not so you can fight with me. I didn't respond nor did I argue. Deep down I asked myself if I had done enough for her over the years. Even her family I had been secretly supporting. Otherwise, as an art student, how could she have settled in Beijing right after graduating? It's fine, that's your freedom. I won't interfere. Hearing this, Joanna paused. A look of doubt flashed across her face. She seemed unable to believe what she had just heard. After hanging up, I lay back in my hospital bed. My assistant tried to comfort me. Boss, don't be angry. It's normal for young girls to enjoy life. When she gets bored, she naturally comes back to the family. I couldn't help but scoff and shake my head. Will Joanna change impossible? Over the years we caught her in flirtations with other men more than once. At the joy I am with her strength. In massage rooms getting full body spa treatments from male therapists and countless other times. Since she loves to have fun so much, she just let her be. After a few days in the hospital, I had discharged myself early to attend an important event. During my time in the hospital, John Ann sent a single message. All I saw were a series of consumption records. She had bought a lot of luxury items for men. I didn't think they were for me. But at the company, I went straight to my office. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Dominic sprawled on the couch with his legs wide open and John was crashing between them. When she heard the noise, Dominic hurriedly stood up. John wished her back to Miss Caldito without turning her head. "Who's there? Don't you know how to knock?" It's me. I said in a low voice. Joanna trembled and quickly turned round, her eyes flashing with both anger and shock. You? W. Ryback, I thought you were in the hospital. You discharged without telling me. I was planning to find time to visit you. Really? I sneered. Wasn't I the one who was busy? Didn't you have time to see me? Her expression changed. Then she hastily tried to explain. Oh, do you mean we don't just hit something stuck on each spoons? I was just wiping it off. Nothing happened? I glanced at Dominic, whose outfit matched the pictures records on MOI phone. It's fine, I believe you. MOI tone was flat without a single emotion. But that made Joan uneasy. She stammered, unsure of what to say next. Just then Jana's younger brother Diego walked in. Ramea, I need to speak to Dominic. Could you let him come out for a moment? Chip says Jana's brother Diego had been working at the MOI company ever since he graduated. Compared to Joan, he hit a much stronger business, and so which was WHY had promoted him despite his lack of seniority. I knew he was here to help with his sister out. I glanced at the group and then turned to leave. Today was the retirement party of one of the company's long-term employees, and I had reserved a spot at the Vista Hotel. All the executives from the company were attending, but Joan insisted on bringing Dominic along. Is a MOI assistant. What's wrong with that? She dragged Dominic into the car. I vaguely heard Diego lower his voice and scolded her. Says this is an important event. What are you doing bringing him along? Joan spoke with disdain. It's just a jeans. I want Domi to see the word. That's the big deal. I'm the CEO who dares to criticize me. Diego gave me an awkward look. I shrugged nonchalantly. It isn't matter. It's just one more pair of chopsticks. That made the three people in the car uneasy. When we arrived at the hotel and sat down, the hotel manager came over with a smile. Miss Joan, would you like the wine you have stored here to be brought up? Wine? I was confused. This place is just a penny, and I had never been here before, so I didn't know about any stored wine. Before I could react, Dominic casually spoke up. Yes, bring it up. That's when I understood he was the gentleman the manager had referred to. The company's long-term employees exchanged their glances. Joanna kept her head down, her face filled with awkwardness. When the wine arrived there, I immediately recognized the brand. Romanets into white wine. Just one bottle cost thousands of dollars. I smiled faintly. Thanks to Jana's generosity, you're now able to taste wine worth thousands of dollars. Jana's face turned a little awkward. Domi was said to be a wine sommelier overseas. I just wanted him to taste it so that we wouldn't end up with a counterfeit one. Everyone in the room was sharp enough to not comment, though they were all aware of the situation. After a 4 hours of drinks and dishes, I stepped out to take a call. When I returned, I saw MOI assistant and a photo pouring wine into Dominic's glass. I teased him they were doing this to relieve some of MOI frustration. Jana's face darkened as she sharply reprimanded. In although you can't use him, he's already had too much to drink, he has a stomach condition. This is going to be a problem. As she scowled at her, she snatched the wine glass from Dominic's hand and drank it in one gulp. Watching this, I couldn't help butting back to a time long ago. Because of long nights of socializing, I had developed a stomach ulcer. Before I recovered, I had to attend an unavoidable business gathering. Joanna and I attended together, and facing the toast from our clients, I had to force myself to drink. But after just a few drinks, my stomach churned and I felt intense pain. I looked at Joanna for help, but she merely looked at me with disdain. How embarrassing. You need your wife to shield you from drinking. If you can't handle your alcohol, you'd better practice more. Otherwise, no one will want to dine with you in the future. I thought that it was just her way of thinking. But now I realized that it was all about who the person was. Joanna was about to explode, pulling Dominic's hand to leave. But upon seeing me, she immediately reflexively released her grip. Honey, don't misunderstand. These people kept making Domi drink. Is he too much? If this continues, he won't be able to. Shindulaiti. Diego, standing nearby, turned pale and kept tugging at her sleeve. She stopped as let go of him. Chipped the same Joanna ignored everything, continuing to shout her complaints. Dominic provocatively glanced at me. Ramea, don't misunderstand. MOI sister is just worried that him drinking too much and it's bad for MOI health. She's just concerned, that's all. The colleagues around us all changed their expressions, probably expecting me to roll the handle. but I just give a faint smile. It's fine. You're Anna's brot. It's natural for her to care about you. You guys enjoy your meal. If we got something to take care of, so I be leaving now. I turned to walk through. But Damrani got up and grabbed my arm. Rame, you got to believe me. I really just think of joining her as a sister. You're totally clean between us. He emphasized the word clean in an year's way it is a warning John. I smiled calmly. W. I misunderstand the man older guy and with jealous of someone so much younger. You're young and strong. Take good care of your sister. I shook over just hinted to walk through. The court tension in the was unbearable, so all of our colleagues quickly left the table, leaving only the two of them. As I walked out, I turned and glanced back. Perhaps it was just my imagination, but I thought I saw every care of regret in Joanna's eyes. Maybe I was just seeing things. On the way home, my phone kept buzzing. It was a stream of messages from John. Don't be mad, darling. There is nothing between me and him. The person I always love is you. Nothing happened with Domi really. Even if it was just a moment of passion. There is no real feelings involved there. I calmly took a screenshot of the messages. This was her induced admission of cheating, wasn't it? But what of regret, she returned to Vanish as soon as I got home. That night, John didn't return home again. Darling, the stomach problem for it happened him taking him to the hospital. I won't be back tonight. I didn't reply. Instead, I immediately contacted my divorce lawyer, Cecilia, who was also my best friend. When I told her I was getting a divorce, she wasn't surprised at all. She only asked if I was in a hurry. I confirmed I was, but I still decided to give John one last bit of advice. I told her it was because of relationship problems and I won't be asking her to live with nothing. At 2 noche, I heard the sound of kissing the door. Seeing me sitting on the couch, she looked surprised. How come you're still awake? I told you not to wait for me. She walked towards me, opened her long arms to wrap around my neck and lean it in close. She was acting very proactively. This was unusual. In the past, every time we were intimate, she was always resistant. She didn't like me touching her. Even in the 2 years we've been married, we only had intimacy once a month. When she got close, I smelled a faint Rebecca scent on her. She didn't smack us, or did that smell come from? Thinking back to her being with Dominic earlier, I felt disgusted and so hell but pushed her away. John immediately became angry. So now you're disgusted with me. You're a man in your 30s and in a few more years that think on to work anymore. If you don't have kids in the next 2 years, there on BH in chapter 8, she immediately took off her coat and reached for my belt. I grabbed her hand firmly and ich присёнком. In the past 4 years, every time I brought up the idea of having kids, she would always resist. She'd come up with all sorts of excuses to avoid it. You've been married for 5 years and we still don't have any children. Now for her to suddenly bring up having kids. I couldn't help but doubt her motives. I drank too much tonight. Let's do this another time. After I rejected her, she became angry. Are you still mad about the thing with Dominic? If I told you directly and I ignored her and was about to bring up the divorce, but her phone rang again. IT was the minute's exclusive ringtone. Hello, do me what's up, what alright, be right there. She hung up and immediately rushed to leave. The stomach problem is acting up. I have to go. Don't misunderstand him, just going to accompany him because of his stomach issues. I scoffed. Go ahead. I won't think too much. After all, is you a little broad. She paused for a second but didn't say anything. She quickly rushed out. I immediately pushed for the divorce papers to be finalized while also instructing the finance team to cancel Jana's bank cards. The next morning, while I was discussing the divorce with Cecilia, John stormed in fuming. Romeo, what do you think you're doing? Why did you cancel my bank cards? Do you know how embarrassing you made me today? When she noticed Cecilia sitting next to me, her eyes widened in disbelief. I see now. So you started an office romance. A man in his 30s and you're still having an affair. I want a divorce. I'm going to make sure you live with nothing. I'm going to take back all the money you spent on this woman. I'd soon help but sneer. Had you forgotten how her current life came to be? At the end of the day, she was just an employee at the Moai company. Before I could speak, Cecilia couldn't hold back anymore. What are you talking about? No wonder a male wants a divorce. You're making a scene and you're filled with surgery scars. It's really disgusting. I was stunned. I had non Cecilia 4 years, but this was the first time it seemed for this angry. As John was about to continue arguing, I spoke coldly. John, Cecilia is a mooi drouwers lauwer. You better not make a scene. She froze the mention of drouwers for a student in G's belief. You mean, you want a drouwer should so understand. I rent you over it yet she was right, I wasn't angry anymore. I just didn't care anymore. I jeered to Cecilia and she immediately hinted me a decrement. This was a list of all the expenses John had incurred over the past year compelled by Cecilia. She had spent over 5 million on Dominic alone. I'm not angry, I said, I just want a drouwer cent to recover the 5 million you spent on Dominic. Chapter David hearing my words, John didn't show much reaction, but Dominic immediately panicked. He grabbed Anna's arm and says full of guilt and anxiety. John immediately became defiant. Don't even think about it, Romeo, when did you become so stingy? Besides, your money is my money. I have the right to manage it, she treated her into me, but Cecilia stepped in and blocked her. In the scuffle, John suddenly screamed. What are you doing pushing me, Romeo? I'm carrying you a child and you're letting this woman lay hands on me. Her reaction was intense, which only further confirmed what I had suspected after hiring a private investigator a while ago. She was pregnant. Drouwers is fine. As for us, she split everything in half. Don't expect anything more from me. You can deduce IT from a moai share. She spoke with an air of superiority as though she had already won. Dominic relaxed proudly, hooking his arm round Anna's. I shook my head with a slight smile. Originally, I planned to show her some mercy, but since she didn't know when to stop, she'd soon blame me for being heartless. I pulled out the evidence of her multiple affairs and planted IT on the table. These were photos taken by the private investigator I hired earlier. The two of them were flaunting their relationship online every day, so their whereabouts were easy to track. When I saw the photos for the first time, I was shocked. The once poor and innocent Skubichi who had been in front of me was in effect a disgraceful woman seeking pleasure under the bodies of men. Looking at the herb-seen photos, Anna's face immediately drained of color. This is fake, it's a fetch so vicious to slander me like this. I didn't even bother to waste time with her and coldly interrupted. It wait for the coward to see your signs at devours papers and leave. Your choice. Anna's face turned from green to pale. Though she was foolish enough that if the coward roulette she would most likely lose everything due to her infidelity. Dominic standing by agreed her on. She's just sign IT. You still have 2 properties under your name, right? After selling Terum, she be worth about 10 million. After paying him back, you still have 5 million. Add there to be a rate of John greeted her teeth and nodded reluctantly. After signing the devour's agreement, she threw the pen at me. Romeo, I'm waiting for the day you beg me to come back without me. You won't have the life you have today. You wait and see when you have nothing left, which woman would want you after selling the properties John with over 5 million and can spend some time living lavishly with Dominic. Their social media profiles showcase their extravagant lifestyle. But how long could 5 million really last? Less than 2 months later, John came knocking on a wide hour. I had already informed the security not to let her in, no matter how much she caused a scene. But I still underestimated her shamelessness. She completely disregarded the onlookers and knelt at the entrance of a Moai company, screaming with all her might. I was wrong, husband, please forgive me, I saw nothing happened with Dominic. The only person I truly love is you. Chipped to sit under the scorching sun, her skin was burnt red and her entire demeanor looked drained. But I felt no sympathy at all. Even Diego, who had noticed the scene, didn't think of stepping in to ask for leniency. In the evening, I invited Cecilia out for dinner to thank her for her help during this time. But as soon as I stepped outside, John suddenly appeared from who knows where and dropped to her knees with a toy. Her voice was strict, Mr. Sure was hours and cooking Romeo. Don't do this, please, don't do this woman to provoke me, you why let's remarry, okay? I promise I'll love you all from now on and never make you angrier again. I have a child with you, all right? I'd soon help batteries and eyebrow when she mentioned having a child. Was she doing this to give the child in her belly a name, or was she trying to return to the luxurious life of a rich wife? In any case, it was clear she wasn't genuinely repenting or realizing her mistakes. I ignored her, grabbing Ceciolia's arm and walking quickly towards the car. For the next few days, John showed up at the company building like clockwork every day. When I didn't respond, she actually went to my parents' house. But my parents had never liked her. If it weren't for me insisting on marrying her, they would never have agreed. Mom got pregnant with Romeo's child. Are you really going to let your grandchild be abandoned hearing that she was pregnant, and why parents showed some reaction? But I could feel why их presión darken. Do you really need me to ask whose child is in you, Bilianas ways went pale? Ramea I promise I cut ties with Dominic. You're my only husband. I scoffed. John, I don't know where you get the nerve to say these things. Didn't you feel disgusted when you were sleeping with those men who remained silent tears flowing who eat or they ort? I directly kicked her out. But just as she stepped out, Dominic suddenly appeared from nowhere and grabbed her by the neck. John, you filthy woman, didn't you say you were just pretending to remarry Ramea to get the money and give it to me? Now you're thinking of having my child call someone else that Dominic beaky more and regret and slapped John harder across the face. John screamed and that began to toss her. But how could she possibly be a match for a man she was soon knocked to the ground with a slap? 10 with retes he glared at me. Ramea, we got so much money why don't you share some visas John and I made a mistake so don't you let it go I left coldly. Why I can give you money but John. I looked down at her crumpled form on the floor. You either abort the child and remarry me or go raise the child with you a dummy brother in some rented apartment. You choose. Upon hearing this, John scrambled to her feet, crawling up to clutch my leg. Immediately you again aboard this bastard child right, now see in front of money even her lover's child was considered a bastard. Dominic with bloodshot eyes rose forward, pulling her hair and beating her with fists and kicks. You're asking for this of звездочка Ingesloot. You think you can abort my child till you know that John had no more money and was ready to abandon him. Dominic no longer pretended to be nice. A chest true voice came out. John screamed for help, but I just watched coldly. These two were the same type of people ready to give up everything for money. About 10 minutes later, John stopped moving, blood slowly trickling down her thigh. Dominic panicked, trying to flee, but I called the security to stop him and immediately yelled for an ambulance. At the hospital, when the doctor said that the child might not be saved, John didn't seem sad at all. Instead, she became excited. Great, Ramea, now that the bastard is gone, you remarry me, right? I didn't speak, but decisively called the police. Dominic was sentenced to 3 years in prison for intentional injury. Not only that, but Jan's parents arranged once to let it go later. They demanded Dominic pay for the damages. After leaving the hospital, John came like king again. Ramea, I know I was wrong, please let me come back home. I can still give you a child. Hourly febrile. I smirked coldly. John, I forgot to tell you the doctor said you suffered major bleeding and can no longer carry a child. In other words, you can't even be a prepared woman anymore. John froze and then shook her head in disbelief. No. That's impossible, I don't believe it. I slapped the medical report on the table in front of her and turned to close the door. After that day, John didn't come back. Her parents, seeing that she had no money, kicked her out. The next time I saw her was in the Red Lake district. She was dressed provocatively, sitting in front of a massage parlor, flirting with pushing men. She had finally brought herself to this pathetic state. When she saw me, her eyes lit up and she stood up, seemingly planning to come toward me. Drive. I instructed the driver. In the rearview mirror, I saw John collapse to the ground, crying hysterically. From 10 on my life returned to normal.